Hello everyone and welcome back to Always Watching. Today I'm continuing my coverage for the Tribeca Film Festival with the short Ebb and Flow. This is probably one of my favorite shorts and I think it would make for a very compelling feature film. So briefly, Ebb and Flow is a short that follows a young girl determined to have her first kiss. The short essentially explores or begins to explore the trials and tribulations of growing up in an area ripe with catastrophe. We are introduced to our main character, Lulua, who is listening to music and fantasizing about her crush while her mother drops her off at school. Like every teenager, she dreams of falling in love. She dreams of her happily ever after. However, her dreams are very much threatened by her environment. The story takes place in Lebanon. And during this time specifically, there seems to be like a series of bombings. So in general, bombings and assassinations are things that happen like frequently. But I guess during this period of time in the movie, it's been happening a lot more than normal. You can see it as soon as she goes to school. Like classes literally start with a moment of silence for those who lost their lives. There's an air of uncertainty throughout the film because, again, these bombings are becoming more and more frequent. However, because of their frequency, there's really nothing they can do about it. Like life goes on, you still have to go to school, you still have to go to work, like you can't really evacuate. And you can't stop your life. So you're just kind of stuck in the middle. In terms of the story, Lulua is very determined to have her first kiss, and she doesn't seem to be distracted by anything around her. She comes up with a plan with her best friend. She brings a change of clothes. She even comes up with an elaborate alibi before pursuing her adventure. I really like how her journey to get this kiss is paralleled by the increase of bombings in the area and political assassinations. The kiss itself is actually pretty anticlimactic. It's like all the things around the kiss that make it exceptional. And I don't want to ruin the short, but she almost ends up getting way more than she bargained for until her encounter or her moment with her crush is rudely interrupted by these loud bombs. So much of this short is about like accelerated youth. They have to grow up quite quickly because they live in an area that's very prone to conflict. Lulua had this whole story in her head about how this kiss was gonna go, what the expectations were, and it ends up being totally different. And not only different, it opens up a brand new world. And this world is also mirrored in her environment. The closer she gets to this kiss, the closer in proximity she is to these bombings, it starts to affect her more and more. Though it never takes the dark turn that it seems like it might take, this new world has opened up and it's terrifying. She's introduced to a world with endless possibilities, and she has two options essentially. She can either go on living, or she can cower in fear and wait for the worst to happen. There is no question that Lulua's new world will be chaotic and dangerous, but that doesn't mean she has to cave into the pressures or rush into a life that she's simply not ready for. Throughout the short, we see that Lulua and her friends are really no different than all the other teenagers around the world. You actually forget that it takes place in a conflict zone until the bombings occur. But for the most part, they're very relatable. We all know girls and boys like this. And I think what the short stresses very well is that their environment does not take away their innocence, even though the world desperately wants it to. And so overall, I highly recommend this short. And you guys let me know what you think.